Welcome to the round table. I'm your host, Brett Harrelson, and today we are talking all about Glide Big Tables. This is an exciting one. So what are we going to talk about? First, I'm going to talk a little bit about the mission of Glide and what we're focusing on here in 2023. Then we're going to talk all about big tables. Then we're going to have a special guest with a special demo just for y'all today. And then, of course, it wouldn't be a round table without some Q&A at the end. So before we jump into this, two quick housekeeping items. If you have a question during this, just drop it into the chat and I'll circle back at the end towards the live Q&A. And the second thing is, where are you tuning in from? I love seeing where gliders live. So let me know where you're checking in from. So glad you can make it. So let's talk about the mission of Glide. And the mission is to put the power, beauty, and magic of software development into the hands of 1 billion new creators. And as some of you may or may not know, this year, 2023, we are focusing on power. And a lot of the features that we've released and that, for example, Glide Big Tables and more to come is focused on power. So Glide Big Tables is a very different product here. And before this, as you can see, our row cap was 25,000. And we got a lot of requests from the community, customers. Can you go a little higher? Maybe 50, maybe 100. We thought about it. We decided 10 million was the number that we wanted to do. So we're at 10 million rows for Glide Big Tables. This is incredible. And our customers are loving this because it's an invaluable tool to help them scale their businesses. Now, I've got a special guest and I'm bringing Mark up here. Mark, it's so glad to have you. Mark is the CTO and co-founder of Glide. Let's talk about Big Tables. Welcome, Mark.
Hey, Brett. It's a pleasure.
Mark, the burning question that I have is, how in the world do we go from 25K to 10 million?
Yeah, so 25K was and is still a technical limitation that comes from the way our computation model works. I don't want to get too much into the details here, but basically it means that the data has to be on the device that the thing is running on so that it can give you crazy computational power with real-time updates. And it's also a bandwidth limitation. But our customers obviously needed more scale. And so what we decided to do was go a little bit back on the power of the computation model, but make it so that the data comes in on demand, which is like, the classical model that apps work, but we kind of went the other way around. And the number 10 million comes from two variables, basically. We talked to a bunch of customers to see what their use cases were and what their needs are in terms of data scale. And then the other question was, how much can we confidently support? And 10 million was a number that we thought we could comfortably support, and with a comfortable margin accommodates all the customers that we talk to in terms of data scale.
Mark, I've got another question for you, but we've got people coming in from Chicago, Singapore, France, India, Pennsylvania. What's going on? This is amazing.
That's amazing.
What I love that you said, though, Mark, that I really want to just sort of underscore is the fact that we listen to our customers and we really build what our users are using and are needing. This is incredible. What are you seeing, Mark, in terms of what are the use cases for Big Tables? What are some of our customers doing with it?
Yeah. So apart from kind of the standard story of, Glide works great, but my data is slowly becoming too big. There's a bunch of others. One of them is one that often comes up in conversations where customers are just concerned that they might have too much data in the future, but might currently not. And that might happen or not. But two very concrete or much more concrete use cases are, one of them is businesses that constantly generate data that usually you want to see in an aggregated form, but that you would ideally also want to keep around. So, for example, we have this one customer that they basically keep track of harvests of fruit, and every single batch produces a row of data, and they have a lot of batches. And so the data grows larger and larger and larger. And what they've done so far is manually aggregate this data in Google Sheets and basically throw away the old data. And they don't have to do that with Big Tables anymore. And
That's
the other
incredible.
one is a very different one where there is a big set usually like inventory or something like that, where that's fairly static, and you just do lookups where you go, you search for an item, and you go, okay, this is its price, that's its manual. So those are the main ones we've been seeing.
I love that, and I'm sure we'll see even more amazing things that our users and experts are doing. So, Mark, without jumping into it, I know we're ready I know we're excited about this demo. So let's just jump into it. I'm going to bring up your screen. So go ahead. What are we going to be looking at today?
Yeah, so I'm going to show you a very boring app. So note right ahead of the presentation, this is going to be very boring. The only exciting thing you're going to see about this is the scale of the data in this app. Other than that, it's just going to look like a Glide app that you could build probably in 10 minutes. So let's look at the data first. We have these companies, people's products, and orders. And you can see we have 50,000 companies. Okay, like you could still do that with Glide tables, maybe, if you're lucky. 200,000 people, probably going to break. 1 million products for sure, like that's not going to work. And we have 10 million orders here. And these are related. So the companies have relations into the people where, like, these are the people who work at the companies. And then the company has products, all of which are bogus because it's just random data I generated. And again, these relations are just like normal relations you would do in Glide tables or Google Sheets tables. So let's take a look around and let's see what standard stuff big tables do. The first thing you see here is, if you look down, we only see 21 pages here, which is, this is not 50,000 items, but if you go there, then it loads more. So this is progressive loading, because if we loaded all of them, then again, we'd have trouble. Search works. So let's search for enterprise, for example. And we got an enterprise-wide stable time frame, which looks very interesting. So let's take a look at what they got. They got these 6 people working for them, and they got a bunch of products, including a modern bronze pizza, which I don't think I want to try. And again, these are just standard collections bound to these relations, right? Nothing special here. Let's look at the People's tab. One thing I put in here is you can see there's a filter. So I can switch to showing everybody. There's 200,000, or we can just show the, I don't know, Assurance Associates. Let's maybe look into Alexandra Swift. And there's a choice component. And this choice component also takes its data, the options from the People's table, from all the jobs. So there's quite a few in there. And if you go all the way down, you don't actually see all of them, but you can search. So let's search for, I don't know, let's search for all the supervisors. Let's make them an optimization supervisor. So there we go. And if we go back, they're gone because we're filtering them out now. Products, what do we have here? So one thing that we had to, that we thought we're going to not build, not ship with initially, but the people that we're working with, our customers, said we have to, because otherwise Bigtables is not going to be super useful to them, is rollups. So what you see here is these products have orders associated with them. And if we go over here, we can see the orders associated with these products. And what I have here is a roll-up that counts the number of orders. And then I count I sum up the quantities of the orders. So that's like 12 orders, 582 items in those orders. And then I just make a template. And I put that in here. And that's that. And another thing that's, just remarkable because it's the data scale. If I go into one of these, I see all of the orders related to that. So these are these orders out of 10 million. And you can see that this is pretty fast.
Yeah, someone actually already said that. Yassine was excited about that.
Yeah. Yeah, we work very closely with Yassine. Thank you. If you're here, Yassine, shout out. Thank you so much for all your bug reports. And the last thing I'm going to show is the charts. These also work. You can see here the products by material and by category. I guess fresh products are in vogue here. The filters also work in the charts, just like they do in the other components. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, Mark, I got to say, you've got a lot of love coming from our community. Everybody just thinks, first off, nothing you could ever show us is boring. So that's awesome. So this is really incredible. And this really just shows the power of what you can do with big tables. It's great.
So this was the boring part. I actually got I got one more thing now, which is we just released this week the query column, which allows much more expressive filtering and sorting in the data model. And the query column works really well with big tables. So I wanted to do a quick demo of that, if that's cool.
I don't think anybody would be upset, Mark.
Okay. So what I want to do is these people here in our people's table, they have a salary associated with them. What I want to do is I want to see that's a terrible photo. I did not pick these photos. These are from a fake data generator. I want to see how many people work at each one of those companies and how many of those earn more than the average salary. This is actually not easy to do in Glide. If you do it without the query column. So basically what I want here is I want like kind of somewhat of a relation-y column that gets me all the people that are above the average salary. So the first thing I got to do is I got to do a roll up to find the average salary. So I'm going to go to the people's table, pick the salary and say, give me the average. That part is easy. And now the second part, maybe I shouldn't have called it just new column. The people above the average salary, now I can do with the query column. And the way it works is you pick a source, which can be either a table or actually a relation. And I want the people who work at this company who have more than the average, who earn more than the average salary. So I'm going to pick these people. I'm going to say add a filter where their salary is greater than this row's new column, which I should have called average salary. And if I do that and I evaluate this query, I get 2 people here out of 6. And now the rest is fairly easy. I want to just count people. So I'm going to do a roll up, count the people's IDs. Sure, that's 4. Sorry, 6 in this case. And then count average, count more than average. Another roll up, and we're counting the people above average as IDs. And then I make a template. I'm just going to call it text. Sorry, template. X out of Y of average. X is count more than average, and Y is the count of people. And so we have 2 out of 6 above average for this first one. And now that I have that, I can just bind that to the meta here. For example, oh, sorry, count more than average, the text, right? 1 out of 7 above average. And that's it.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Mark, before we jump out of this demo, let me ask you one question. It's a burning question, and this one's for you, Aaron. Mark, can you give us any any juicy updates that might be coming in the near future? Any sneak peeks or what you're thinking of next for big tables?
Yeah, funny you should ask that. So by the way, I should mention this. This is slightly off topic, but if you haven't noticed this yet, any team, and you click on previews, then you can enable these previews, and you can see we just added multiple filters to this preview, which is pretty exciting, and there will be more coming. But the one thing that I wanted to show was another highly requested feature regarding big tables, which is programmatically filtering via our API. So we have this API that you can use to talk to get rows from a glide table or a spreadsheet or a big table. And especially for big tables, right now the API will only give you all the rows. That's not great when you have 10 million rows. So people wanted to be able to filter. And we have this very, very small subset of SQL that we will be releasing pretty soon that allows you to do something like find all the metrics producers from this table and sort them by their salary and pick the highest 10. And so if I run this, I get these people out. Tyler Graham is the top salaried metrics producer. Coming pretty soon.
That's exciting. That's exciting, Mark. That's exciting. Okay, this is great. Mark, thank you for the demo. I can't thank you enough. We've got a lot of questions. There were a lot of questions asked. So I'm going to take the next few minutes and just sort of rapid fire through those. Yeah. So here we go. And if you have any questions, now's the time to ask it in chat. So I'm going to fire away. So what plans can I use Glide Big Tables on? I'll take that one. Big Tables is available now in business and enterprise plans. Here's one that, Mark, here's one that I have written down because I see this a lot in the community. Can I convert my existing Glide table to a Glide Big Table?
Right now, it's a little bit roundabout. What you will have to do is you will have to export your Glide table as a CSV and then import it into a big table. I hope that we can make this a lot more seamless in the future, but it was not on the shipping priority list.
So you mentioned export as a CSV. Are there any other data sources that you can import to Bigtable?
I believe that you might be able to upload Excel files, but the preferred way is CSV. With CSV, you can import a multiple 100 megabytes file into big tables, and it won't be a problem.
Gotcha.
And
great,
also,
thanks.
I should mention you can export. From
okay. Well. So we can import into big tables, but can we also export out of big table? Okay.
It's the same functionality that you have in the other tables. You say export, and it'll send you an email with a link to a CSV.
Author had a great question earlier, Mark. The question is, what if we need more than 10 million rows?
Talk to sales.
That's great.
Do they have a specific use case? I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, that's a great use case. Tell us what you're doing, Arthur, and we'd love to investigate.
So the thing is, we're not ruling out expanding this, right? We're just starting with 10 million because we felt pretty comfortable that that's what we can support, and we will learn more about in the future about performance and what our customers want.
So let me ask you another question. Eric's got a good one here. Mark, can you elaborate on how the future of relations are to be computed columns in big tables?
Between computed columns and big tables. Yeah. So this is one of the things where we had to kind of step back a little bit from not a little bit, like quite a bit from our powerful computation model to enable the bigger scale and performance. So you cannot, for example, right now filter or sort by computed columns. But we've been thinking about at least doing this with some limited set of types of computed columns. My guess is that the first one that we would probably do is the math column, and then probably text templates and if then else. But I can't give you promises or an ETA on that.
Understood.
But I'll say that it's possible and that we've been thinking about it. And if I had unlimited time, I would do it, obviously.
Thank you so much for that answer, and I hope that solved the question. Mark, here's a really good one. And now you showed this, you alluded a little bit to this in your demo just a moment ago, but Matthew wants to know, how do you segment or partition big tables so they are not all loaded at the same time on the client's device? And I think we saw a little bit of that in your demo. Can you elaborate on that?
I might not understand the question correctly, but the thing that is loaded onto the client when you use big tables is actually really just the rows that are displayed on the screen, plus a little more. So I showed you this paging demo at the start where you saw the first 25 pages. When we show a collection, we basically load, I think it's like 500 or 1,000 rows initially. And those are on the client. And only when you go and you page further will more rows be loaded. But we will never load all 10 million rows to the client. And that just happens automatically. Like, you don't have to think about that.
I look, that is exactly the answer. And that's a beautiful question. And I love the answer there. It's clear. And you can see that too. I think what I was alluding to in the demo that you did just a minute ago, Mark, where we could sort of expand the number and move forward. I think it first showed 24, then you clicked in and it had 24 or 42 more. So that's exactly what I was talking about. Great question. Okay, I'll take a couple more and then we'll let Mark get back to building the future. So here's a good one. Kamaraville asks, if Big Tables does not store on device, is the data more secure?
Not really. Because the data still has to come in when it's shown on the screen, right? So it's as secure as your app allows it to be. If you don't use a table at all in your app, then it's never going to get loaded. So, but that's the same as with regular glide tables.
Understood.
I don't know if I properly answered that question or if I understood it correctly.
I think so. I think it was a good answer, Mark. I'll take one more. Oh, you're welcome. You're absolutely welcome, Kamaraville or Cameraville. I'm not sure. So here, I'll take one more, and this is a great one. Do you plan on adding integrations and automations like Zapier or Make in the near future? So I think that is going to be one for the roundtable scheduled on June 15th, which is actions and integrations. I would ask that one there, show up with, and we'll be there with some answers. So Mark, we've had lots of questions, lots of excitement. People are excited about this. I can't thank you enough for being here and answering our questions. And I'm sure there'll be more in the community afterwards, and we'll keep those answers coming to your questions. So Mark, I want to thank you so much for being here. So thank you again, Mark. So in closing, everybody, this has been incredible. Thanks for being here. Today, we talked about glide big tables. We talked about database tricks without database trickiness. But before we go, I want to share one more thing with y'all. We've gotten in the weeds with Mark, but I want to show y'all our amazing marketing video of this. I think y'all are going to really like this. That's awesome. So, Colin, by the way, I'm glad you're excited too, because I'm really excited about this. So we talked about charts, roll-ups, power search. Mark even took an even extra step and showed us the query column. We really went over some really amazing stuff. So go check it out. Glad it's available. Big tables are available today. Here's where you can go to learn more. Thanks for being at this roundtable. This is exciting, and let's keep the conversation going in the community. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Bye.